Hey there gamers, DreamcastGuy here. Today we're talking about a breaking news story, which is kind of insane, but I want to try and break it down because I don't really consider this to be political. It's just very strange gaming news. But Nintendo is suing the United States government over tariffs, seemingly trying to get $1 billion refund. And I want to break this down because this case I think is going to be incredibly messy, even though everybody that follows Nintendo or gaming news knows the fact that Nintendo has famously ruthless and incredibly good lawyers. They're constantly winning cases here in the United States, in Australia, in Japan, in Korea, basically everywhere that anybody who even tries to mess with Nintendo, they will crush you over copyright, over infringement, over anything, right? If you look at them bad, they will just start sending you cease and desists. So I think this case has a good chance of maybe winning. But I think that even if they do win, I don't think they're really going to get a refund. But let's break this down because a lot of people are instantly saying, hell yeah, Nintendo, question mark? Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day. If you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So let me begin by trying to explain what this is and why it works in the way it works, right? So tariffs are this big thing that really hasn't been rolled out very often, but currently the United States government is very big on this idea of everybody paying us for anything entering the United States. So anything from a watch to shoes to food or anything like that. As soon as it crosses the border of the United States, the importer pays the fee. Now, obviously, we've seen what this did. It's causing prices of everything to go way, way up because if Nintendo's selling something for, $10 and there's a $10 tariff, they're going to charge you $20 instead of losing all the profit. That's kind of just the generality of it. But what's made this extra messy is that in a lot of ways, these tariffs have been incredibly weird in that a lot of times a product doesn't cross the border once, it crosses it multiple times. So if you're buying, let's say, United States steel to make a car, you ship it somewhere, you're paying a tariff to take it, then you're shipping back the mostly complete car, then assembling it. A lot of times these companies will end up paying literally a tariff 2 or 3 times for some of these things. So people have basically been trying to find a way to basically make stuff outside the United States so you only pay that tariff once. All right. These tariffs, as you can see for a lot of this stuff like Vietnam, China, this is a tweet from last year when they're first talking about it. But what you'll notice is that Nintendo delayed the pre-orders of the Nintendo Switch 2, saying we may have to increase the price. It turns out they didn't. They said it was going to cost $450. After the tariffs, they still charged $450. Now, we don't know how much they ate. We don't really know the general cost of how much they were spending to produce the Nintendo Switch 2, but it is thought that to whatever degree, Nintendo was eating the price. But they were warning people all along that if the tariffs don't go away, eventually the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to cost $500, $520, somewhere in there, right? So essentially, I think they're kind of suing them saying, hey, now that the tariffs are gone, we want a refund for the cost we ate. And on top of that, we want to make sure we're not getting tariffed in the future. Because what happened last week is that they have now removed the tariffs. The Supreme Court, which is like here, it's our highest echelon of law, basically ruled that the tariffs themselves were illegal. That the president doesn't really just have the ability to tariff everybody everywhere without asking somebody, right? But they also did say there won't be refunds. This is what actually came out today. Literally, this came out today. They basically said that even though the tariffs are undone, you can't go there with a giant receipt and say, hey, you owe me $65 trillion because I'm Amazon.com. They're basically saying that, so even though it's bad, now going forward, the tariffs just won't exist. So a lot of these memes people are making of like waking up and realizing that you're not going to get that $175 billion back. It's being refunded to companies instead of back to us. I think the way this case is probably going to go, I don't think Nintendo is going to get an actual refund. I think that the way this is going to work, I think Nintendo, even if they do somehow win this case, they're not going to get a check. I just truly, in my heart of hearts, as a person that does follow legal stuff and gaming stuff, I just feel like there is no way in the world that they're actually going to get a check from the United States government, especially not for the amount that this is probably going to be. It's hard for a Japanese company to approach the United States government and say, hey, give me a check for, $12 billion. I just don't really foresee that happening. I know the government is claiming they've made $75 trillion off tariffs and stuff, but I still feel like they're not going to just hand over $12 billion, right? If they win this case, though, I think it's more of going to come out in some sort of rebate. Maybe, hey, now going forward, shipping fees are less. They're probably going to try and find some like deal to make it so they're more profitable for the Nintendo Switch 2. I think that even with the tariffs gone, I don't think the Nintendo Switch 2 price is going to go down. Just historically, I feel like we're not really going to see a price decrease of the Nintendo Switch 2 until maybe 2 or 3 years into the generation. It would be cool if they had some sort of deal they cut where now shipping is free, or they'll get some sort of importer's value discount if they literally start paying like even less to get stuff into the country. It would be cool to see a price decrease if this drops, but I just don't see it happening. Now, it is funny to me that all the people in the comments, about time they sued someone who deserved it, Nintendo's lawyers versus the United States, hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby. Finally, one of their lawsuits I actually support. I do like, this is a meme that people are posting a lot when the tariffs are first being talked about. Hands off my Nintendo Switch 2. Oh man, Nintendo, love to see it, but I wouldn't be surprised if the president decides to ban Nintendo from the US. Well, I don't think that's even possible, but it is funny to think about this. There's nobody that Nintendo lawyers won't go after. I'm trying to read these comments. I'll be honest, I've had to stop this take. There's a lot of politics in the comments. Look, a lot of people. On one hand, I want Nintendo to lose because I'm tired of them suing everybody. On the other hand, I hate the government. Okay, a lot of politics in the comments, right? I'm super curious about how this shakes out. I'll think that historically, with this government especially, they just drag cases out for years and years and years. I don't think there's going to be a resolution to it. There's a good chance. Like, how long did it take to even do like that Activision Blizzard case, right? That took years. There's a good chance they're going to do 7 different stalls and discovery and reductants, and now we have to move the trial. This is probably going to get settled whenever the Nintendo Switch 3 is coming out. But it is an interesting case to say the least. How do you feel about this? And more intentionally, what do you think is going to happen? Do you really think that if they win this case, let's say this is a quick case, do you really think there is a chance the price of the Switch 2 goes down? Because that would be undoubtedly a W. Thanks so much for watching this video, gamers. If you could, please give this video a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please keep dreaming. I actually had to stop playing Marathon in the middle of this. I'm literally in a party, and I had to mute my mic because they were sitting there playing games. But back to Marathon. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.